experiencing Unleashed with Chewy on ESPN Radio Winchester, presented by Burl's Termite and Pest Control. Please stand by for your regularly scheduled broadcast and enjoy the show.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Unleashed, presented by our friends over there at Burl's Termite and Pest Control. Give us a call this afternoon. No, don't give us a call. No, that's the wrong show. Thank you for tuning in this afternoon. It's ESPN Radio Winchester, 1340 1069. Hope everyone had a pretty decent weekend. Let us know how your Mother's Day was right here in the Hall Furniture Facebook stream, yeah? I'm curious, what did you guys do out there? Well, you had it was pretty decent weather out there. Did you go out to eat? Did you get somebody some gifts? Let us know right here in the Hall Furniture Facebook stream. Get started with us this afternoon on the mobile app or the Facebook stream itself. We also, you can just type in WCDT or ESPN Radio in your app store, whether that be the Google or the Apple App Store, and feel free to just jump in with us this afternoon. All right, I had a pretty eventful weekend, and we'll jump into some of that. It is Cinema Monday, so we'll jump into some movie stuff, too. That's a later segment. We also got a call. We're going out to Heath Automotive this afternoon at 3 o'clock, so tune in for that as well. But today, I just wanted to listen, I had an interesting weekend, and it's sort of all over the place, and it was one of those weekends where you don't really think about doing anything. You just kind of, end up places, and that's basically how it got started with me. On Saturday morning, we went out to breakfast, and we got a call, and we got pulled into this little tiny, hole-in-the-wall sort of school. It was way out in the middle of nowhere, and it was this beautiful little tiny school that was, it used to be an elementary school, then it turned into a daycare, but it was so little. Like it had just, a cafeteria and a few extra rooms, very, very small square footage. And my mom actually invited me out there because they were hosting a craft show in the gymnasium or I think it was like a gymnasium / cafeteria room kind of thing. But and I went there, and if you ever go to these craft shows or you go out and you go to yard sales and stuff like that, you hear old building and you're like, oh boy, it's going to be half dilapidated and falling apart sometimes. Man, we got there, and it was not. Absolutely beautiful little school out there that we found. I wish I could find the name of it. I've literally looked it up on Google. I even went on Google Maps, and the place where we went is not even labeled on Google Maps. So we went out there, saw this little tiny school. It's painted beautifully. All the glass is still intact. Had it was nice and clean. All the lawn had been mowed and everything. Wonderful place. Painted all over the place by some artist who had been in there and just went to town on all of the things in there. We went in there, and it was just this cutest little craft show that you could ever see. You could see both ends, on everything. If you were just standing up, you could see the table from both ends on there, and it was an absolutely wonderful little experience that I got to go and do. And I went to this. It was over the weekend, and man, it was just so nice because you know how former schools have that weird magic to them where, they're not just buildings. They're there's almost this shared consciousness when it comes to some of these things. Anytime you go through an elementary school, it's the smell of the, not just the mop water, but also the materials, the crayons and the paper and that sort of plasticky PVC smell that you get from folders and backpacks and all this other stuff. And this place did not have it. We were way past this, but man, I hope I get to go back because that was so much fun. But that institutional nostalgia that you had was it was in me the entire time we were at this craft show. And this craft show is one of those ones where you go there and you kind of you sort of buy something from everybody because there's one or two of the hardcore crafters, and then the rest of them are just sort of they're doing this on the side, making it part of their side hustle. And it was a lot of fun just going up there. They had baked goods and handmade stuff, and I got these little jars. Man, I'm a sucker for a little jar. If you've got something that's like a potion bottle or something like that, I think specifically what they were actually designed for was, those incense sticks. You know what I'm talking about, where they've got like the perfume on the end of them. I'm assuming that's exactly, what they were made for. But what I want to know more than anything else is like, why is it so oddly nostalgic? What is the magic in one of those school buildings that you guys like? I don't know if I'm the only one who gets one of these, but every time I go into one of those school buildings, I'm always caught off guard by, you sort of lose yourself for a second, where you sort of forget what you're doing and you're enjoying, where you are, and it's got all that old architecture where it's like that mix of industrial and inviting, but at the same time, it's very much a building that was created for this specific purpose. So making it pretty wasn't also part in the budget and that kind of thing. And it's always funny because you go to like one of these places and there's always like one booth that's like genuinely impressive woodworking, or like one person selling like tumblers with like these monogrammed, things that they've printed on them. And it's always fun to go in there and you see like these amazing elaborate boxes and chess sets, by the woodworkers. They all got like a CNC machine and they're making wall art and cutting boards. And then you cut to someone who is like got the screen printing business, and they've got like like a bunch of t-shirts with like inappropriate sayings on them. And then the 3D printer guys who've got like some weird maniacal creation that you want to get a hold of. I'm a sucker for 3D printed stuff. I really am. I don't know why. I just every time I go, I always enjoy the 3D printed stuff. Recently, I've been looking at 3D printed armor from like Star Wars and stuff. I was thinking about making my brother a helmet, painting it for him. And I thought about it, man, because everything is like, it's all 3D printed nowadays. But it's always like, man, these little craft fairs is where for some reason that passion for all of this kind of stuff only exists in the place where it congregates. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get super passionate about interesting cutting boards or boxes or gifts or like the freeze dried puffed Skittles and stuff like that you can get from these places. I'm never on the edge of my seat for that stuff. But man, as soon as I walk in there, just something in me just changes, and I don't know exactly what it is. But it certainly works, especially when you've got like that person who has like the 900 crocheted animals out there and, has all that. But listen, absolutely fantastic place, especially for Mother's Day. Mother's Day was over the weekend. I don't know if anybody else missed this, but Mother's Day was over the weekend. I did not miss it, thankfully. We got in there just in clutch. My poor dad he flew off to who knows where on Mother's Day, which was a bit sad. But craft shows seem to be that one place where you have like hard carved cutting board next to a sign that says it's not drinking alone if your dog is home, and then somehow they're both like $35. You know what I mean? But in the best way possible. Like the wallet that I've got now, I got from a craft fair, and the half the stuff that's painting my living room, I've also gotten from a craft fair. But I'm a sucker for basically craft fair. But here's the other thing. That's my kind of thing. If you guys are like that, hit us up in the Hall Furniture Facebook stream. Let us know, because I am curious, because I am a sucker for a good yard sale, a thrift store, or something like this. And tell me if, like, is that the same people who, go to these craft fairs where, like, my mom, she'll go on, like, a craft fair every weekend, finding some hole-in-the-wall place, or, the American Legion's having a craft fair, or the, this downtown thing is having a craft fair over there. And so mom is at them all the time. Perfect place for, like, stocking stuffers, gifts, especially if you struggle with gifts. Listen, head on to one of these craft fairs and you will find something for someone, I guarantee you. And if you don't, I mean, that's just because you're not looking. Same with like yard sales and stuff. I see all these, and then that's the other thing. We've got Swap and Shop in the early morning. From 9 to 9:15 is when we have Swap and Shop. And I think about this all the time. I go to these places, I see these craft fairs. All of these people, they all have these like either like creative like side hustles that they're doing, or maybe it's like that is their full-time job and that's what they get into. And I mean, here's my question. Why don't we hear more about this? Because I go to these places and I see all these awesome things and I never hear about it from anybody. Mom jumped in and said, had the best Mother's Day. Glad to hear that, Ma. If you had a great Mother's Day, let us know in the Hall Furniture Facebook stream this afternoon. But in all seriousness, like when it comes to that kind of thing, I don't even remember where I was at. That threw me off. But craft shows, craft fairs, as it is, does anyone else have that itch? And here's a follow up to that. If you do, why is it almost always better if it's like in something else, like where if it's like in like the old, like, you know, it's in the back of like the church gymnasium or the cafeteria of an old school. Why does it always feel more authentic to have one of these places there? Oh, I remember what I was talking about. My point being, I see these people. I never hear about them. I see them all over the place. I see the 3D printers, the woodworkers, all these people. There was a guy who was like welding stuff. We've got chrome platers, jewelry makers. You've got knickknacks and all bakers. The amount of bakers that you see at these craft shows are incredible, and they're like more than often than not, they are absolutely wonderful. Like they make like awesome like homemade cheesecakes and baked breads and all this kinds of stuff like that. And I mean, you hear about all these things. I never hear from anybody's side hustle. I don't even know anybody who has a side hustle, to be honest with you. And if you do, you haven't told me. Like if I know you and you have a side hustle and I don't know about it, I feel it's kind of hurtful. I mean, genuinely, I'm thinking about all the times we could have had something cool. So let us know in the Hall Furniture Facebook stream this afternoon. Do you have a side hustle? Do you where do you guys congregate? Is it just on Facebook? Like you guys just put the stuff on Facebook and then that's it? Like, I mean, I guess Etsy is where a lot of people would go, but like for the people who are going to like local craft fairs and stuff, how do you guys like network? Like, what is your thing? Like, how does someone find you to be a crafter? That is something that I would like to know. Side hustles in general, if it's painting or sculpting or crocheting, 3D printing, I want to know what you guys are doing out there because I see all these people all the time. Highly jealous every single time I'm seeing all these people. Mom's talking about Miss Yvonne's baked goods. That's right. She had absolutely wonderful baked goods. We got some cheesecake from her, which was absolutely fantastic. But I never hear about these people. Like I never see them advertised anywhere. I never like get them in my recommended on the Facebook Marketplace kind of thing. And it makes me sad because these people work really hard for what they do on their little side. And it's because they're like highly talented, creative individuals who are doing this thing. And I think people should get more involved in telling each other about their side hustles. I don't think what people are hiding from is necessarily shame. I think what people are hiding from is like, oh man, I want to be careful about that. I don't want to get in the wrong place, you know. The Gringham girls are another good one. They were also at the craft fair, and we got lots of special. That's where I got my special pots from. If you or someone have a side hustle, especially if you go to like one of these craft fairs, let us know in the Hall of Furniture Facebook stream. I would love to know because I see the painters and the crocheters and the woodworkers and all this kinds of stuff, and I mean like, man, people they would eat that up, especially for like Christmas gifts, birthday gifts. Graduation is about to happen. I would start doing graduation gifts. Summertime is right around the corner, so maybe you make some summertime stuff out there. I'm curious, where are all the side hustles at? Where's all these, these people being their own boss? You know, you hear about it all the time, and you see it on Facebook, and this person's making soap. Or they're doing baked goods or something like this. So here's another one. You're making candles. I see the candle makers on all the time, and I go to these places, and they always have like the wax melts and the candles and all this other stuff, and it's wonderful. I just never see them. If anybody else is finding these, somebody let me know because I thoroughly enjoy all of these little crafted goods. Like I met a friend at the VFW. She does these like little resin skull things. I don't think she's selling those per se, but it is interesting because you got the people who do the resin thing. We saw a little cute resin pot at the craft fair that we were at. You know what I mean? And I'm like, it was like little things that you're like, man, this would make for the best Christmas gift. And I always hear this, and I never know who to get. So I'm always grabbing these like business cards from people and taking like, oh hey, what's your Facebook? Let me follow you on your Facebook. So I'm following all of these like random people on Facebook. So then you'll add them nowhere in the middle of nowhere. You know, on some day you're not thinking about it, you'll get like a 3D printed skull on your Facebook page. You're like, when did I start following this guy? You know what I mean? And you completely removed it from your mind, and people don't know what to do. All right. Well, if you've got a side hustle or you know someone who does, drop it in the Hall Furniture Facebook stream this afternoon. Stick with us. We're going to go take a break and then be back with more Unleashed, presented by our friends over there at Burroughs Termite and Pest Control. Stay tuned after this.
Busy day? No time to feel sick? At Complete Express Care in Winchester, we know life moves fast. And so do we. With short wait times, skilled providers, and walk-in convenience, we make getting quality care easy. Whether it's the flu, a sprain, or a last-minute physical, we're here to help you get back to what matters most. Locally trusted, open daily, and ready to care for you. Complete Express Care, right here at 1211 Dinah Shore Boulevard in Winchester. Call 931-967-6669 today to learn more.
You ever go down the rabbit hole at 2 in the morning and come out questioning everything? That's kind of what it's like listening to Unleashed with Chewy, presented by Burroughs Termite and Pest Control. That's right, this isn't your typical show. We're going to be talking conspiracies, space, movies, science, whatever our brains have got spinning that day. Some days make sense, most definitely don't. Either way, we're going to have a great time. Unleashed with Chewy, weekdays from 2 to 4 on ESPN Radio Winchester.
This is Joe Abraham, inviting you to join me and Chewy every Tuesday morning on the starting lineup for Trending Tuesday. We're breaking down what's buzzing right here in Franklin County and across social media. The stories everyone's talking about, from local headlines and sports chatter to the wild world online. If it's trending, we're tackling it. Don't miss Trending Tuesday on the starting lineup. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 on ESPN Radio 1340-1069 WCDT Winchester.
Hey, it's Chewy, and if you've got pests, you need the folks that I trust. Burroughs Termite and Pest Control. They're right here in the heart of Estill Springs at 101 North Main Street, taking care of everything from termites and ants to spiders and those little critters that love sneaking into your home. Burroughs is family-owned, they're local, and they've been protecting homes around here for years. So don't wait, swing by or check them out over there online at burroughstermite.com. Burroughs Termite and Pest Control. They'll treat you right and treat your home even better.
Why choose More Courtney Funeral Home? Well, they're a fifth-generation funeral home taking care of the people of Franklin County since 1905. They're committed to serving you, dedicated to providing personalized, professional, and compassionate service to help lighten your burden and help you out during these difficult times. More Courtney Funeral Home, 300 First Avenue Northwest in Winchester, 967-2222. More Courtney Funeral Home.
This is Unleashed with Chewy, powered by Burroughs Termite and Pest Control on ESPN Radio 1340-1069 WCDT Winchester.
Welcome back. ESPN Radio Winchester 1340-1069 Monday afternoon. How is everybody out there? We are presented this afternoon, as always, by our friends over there at Burroughs Termite and Pest Control. Jump in this afternoon if you've got anything to say on the Hall Furniture Facebook stream. It is available to you over there at facebook.com, and you can also listen to us on the ESPN Radio Winchester app. It's on the WCDT app. You can go on your Google Play or Apple App Store, and even if you want, you can jump in with us on Alexa. That's also available to you as well. Talking about the weekend, Mother's Day was yesterday. How did everyone's Mother's Day go? Let us know on the Hall Furniture Facebook stream. I had a pretty all right Mother's Day. Me and my mom sat and watched Darth Maul. Most of it, anyway. We didn't get through the whole thing. I actually passed out about a third of the way through before I could actually wake up. But what I thought was interesting is specifically that Darth Maul was one of Mom's favorite characters back in the day, and I watched it. We can talk about it for Cinema Mondays if you guys want to talk about that. I was curious. I was just more curious, though, about how everyone else spent their Mother's Day. Joe Abraham was kind enough to send in some stuff that we didn't actually get into this afternoon or this morning. And I thought it'd be fun to talk about it here. Up first, there was an interesting topic called, thinking about what was your mom 100% right about? Let us know in the Hall Furniture Facebook stream. I am curious, things like, did she say that one friend was trouble? She's like, I miss you being young. I'd understand when I had kids. Nothing's as good that happens after midnight. She said, quit making that face or it'll stick. Still waiting on the science for that one. But I am curious as to what everyone was like. What did you guys ignore? And what were they 100% right about? I am curious. For me, I don't know. Like, my mom, I don't know. I wasn't in the, mood to disagree with my mom a whole lot. I don't know if you guys particularly were. For a lot of the times, man, I don't know. For me, there are things that I certainly wish I would have listened to earlier, which I guess is kind of what we're asking here. But for me, it was like, taking care of your back, taking care of, this or taking care of that. It's going to hurt you later. It's a lot of stuff like that where it was just like, I heeded many a warning from her personally, and I'm probably better off for it now. You know what I mean? And I don't know about you, but that is sort of where I'm at. There is one specific instance I can remember in which my mom did tell me not to do something, and I did it anyway. And what happened was, this happened at Adventure Mountain, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but the memory, I remember it happening at Adventure Mountain. And I was probably like 5 or 6 or something like that. Early, single digit, early elementary school age. And we were at Adventure Mountain, and I had thought it was kind of fun to walk on the border where all that mulch was, where they have these tall borders where you can walk on the sides. It's like holding in all the mulch. And I'd gotten pretty good at balancing, like a balancing beam, walking across those. And my mom told me to quit, and I was like, listen, lady, I know you can't do this, but you may not like it, but this is what the peak male athletic form looks like. That's what you're looking at right now. And what I'm doing, just because you can't do it doesn't mean nobody else can. And she was like, all right, but when you fall, you better not be crying. And well, I tell you what, I definitely fell. I slipped and hit my hip really, really, really hard. And I didn't cry. I didn't give her the satisfaction of it because I knew she would win if she did that. I wanted to really bad, but I didn't. Not because it didn't hurt or I was very strong. I hit it because I did not want her specifically to win and be 100% right. Now, did I fall and bust my ass? Yes. Did I cry? Technically, there were tears on my face, but I was not crying technically. And I certainly didn't go crying to her. And because I remember the look on her face as soon as I fell and I hit the ground, I looked back up and I just glanced at my mom, and she just had that face like she was just staring at me, and she looked at me like, yeah, well, see what happens. It was sort of like one of those things. So I got it up, dusted off. How you're a little shaky when you're that age when something like that happens, and you go on, you keep playing, And I wonder if that's also part of why I am the way I am a little bit now. I don't know. Was anyone else's parents like the dusted up and get up and dust it off kind of type, or did they run and help you whenever you fell? Because for me, dude, especially if I was doing something stupid, man, and and they caught me doing something stupid, and then I had the consequences of doing said stupid thing, it was well, don't do it again. You know what I mean? We don't know what to tell you. We're not going to sit here and baby you for, acting a fool. And they didn't, which I appreciate, nowadays, numerous things. But not all the time, is walking under a light while you're taking it off the ceiling, am I supposed to know that gravity works as well as it does whenever it hits me in the head? I mean, maybe not. Who knows? I feel like there's multiple parties on there where we can talk about that one. I had a black light fell on my head from a second story one time. But it's stuff like that, where you're riding the bike on the gravel and then you wipe out and, your mom watches you from the car behind you because you're like, hey, watch this. I can totally ride a bicycle. And then she's all like, you should really put a helmet and knee pads on. And then I say, listen, Mom, you obviously don't understand the drip. I can't be caught with knee pads and helmet on. That's not very cool. And then she says, okay, but when you fall and crash and hurt yourself, don't be crying about it. And here's the thing. I fell and crashed and hurt myself, and I was covered in dust and everything, but I did not go and cry about it, okay? two totally different scenarios, right? Like, I mean, what is a 9-year-old boy supposed to do with a brand new bicycle, right? You're supposed to get on that thing and start riding it around everywhere you go. So I was riding it back and forth to my grandmother's house, and you see what happens. You fall. Yeah, you fall sometimes whenever you get a new bicycle. It's not something weird. But I mean, like, let's celebrate Mother's Day for how it is. You know, like my mom, for a lot of the things is like she told me not to do. It was usually like, I'd be like, listen, I know what you're trying to say, but I kind of already had it covered. And I got to tell you what, guys, boy, I never had it covered, no matter what we were doing. And it basically, at any chance that we had, I was 100% wrong every single time. Let us know in the Hall Furniture Facebook stream if that was sort of similar to you. But also, like, everyone thinks that their mom is the best mom. You know, I think this is a given. If it's not, and you think someone else's is, let us know in the Hall Furniture Facebook stream. I'd be curious to see who you're going to out on this. But there's got a list here of the Mama Tried draft, and this is some of the best moms in like sports and pop culture that we've got. And here you go. Donna Kelsey, ultimate NFL mom, handled the Super Bowl spotlight like a pro. Gloria James, LeBron's mom, raised one of the greatest athletes of all time. Wanda Durant, Kevin Durant's mom, famously called the real MVP. Pam McGee, WNBA player and mother of JaVale McGee, an actual athlete mom. Judy Murray, mother and coach figure for Andy and Jamie Murray. Sonia Curry, Steph and Seth Curry's mom, basketball family royalty. Leanne Tuyi, I don't know how to pronounce that, from The Blind Side, which is intense sports mom energy, and the mom from every travel ball team ever, it says here, undefeated in snacks, folding chairs, and hotel points. Yeah, hey, shout out to everybody, all the sports moms out there, and basically all the parents who are involved with that. I did not realize, man, I'm just having all my friends they're all like the age now where they're like coaching their kids' little league games and stuff like that. Way more involved than I thought it was. My mom was involved in with my dad when we did soccer back in the day. And if you don't know about the soccer incident, it's the one thing that everyone likes to tease me about, because I found a running technique, while definitely out of the ordinary, did enhance my speed more than the other players on the team. Now, did it add any technical advantage whatsoever? Technically, no. But that wasn't really what I was going after. I was going after style, points, and speed, and I succeeded in both of those. And my mom helped me out. We were called the Power Rangers, but I don't think we were allowed to use, those kinds of names unless it was an official football club. So we just called ourselves the Texas Rangers. We told everyone that we were the Power Rangers, but we weren't allowed to get that printed on a T-shirt. And when we were little, our hype word, I don't know what it is. It's like when you say 1, 2, 3, go or whatever. I don't know what that's called. But ours was Mia Hamm, who was like a big soccer player at that time. So very cool stuff. Let us know if you're still listening, do you remember that at all? I'm sure you remember me running the way I was running. But out of curiosity, if you have any wisdom from those days, listen, shout out to Mom. All right, I'm not a sports guy now, but it's not for a lack of trying. She never told me that I wasn't allowed to go and play, like t-ball or soccer or swimming or any of this other stuff. So it's not for a lack of trying. We attempted it. They tried to see if I've got some sort of athletic bug, and boy, if I've got it, that bug was exterminated a while ago. Because we better hope that we didn't ever have one, but it's dead now. Because I did not take to sports. I'm not a competitive person. I don't know if you are, but maybe that's changed. But if you've got an MVP mom, let us know who it was in the Hall Furniture Facebook stream this afternoon. Say Happy Mother's Day to all of our mothers out there. I hope you all had an absolutely wonderful Sunday. I hope it was pretty decent. I'm not sure if everyone else had one, but let us know. And if you didn't, happy Mother's Day to you if you didn't hear that as well. But let us know, what is your mom like? Do you like your mom? Is your mom the real MVP? Let us know. We'll be back with more after this. We're going to take a break and then be back with more Unleashed, presented by our friends over there at Burroughs Termite and Pest Control, right after these messages.
Every child deserves a safe place to grow. When substance misuse enters a home, children can face neglect and lasting trauma. The Drug Endangered Children's Initiative in Franklin County brings together schools, first responders, and community partners to identify risks early and protect our most vulnerable. It's not about blame, it's about protection. And when we stand up for our children, we are stronger together. Learn more at fcpctn.org/DEC. This project is funded under a grant contract with the State of Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
No two patients are alike. High Point Health with Ascension St. Thomas delivers care centered around your health, your goals, your story, your recovery. From routine checkups to critical procedures, we use today's medical technology and advanced clinical practices to help you feel better, recover faster, and return home to the community you love. We don't just specialize in care, we specialize in you. Learn more at highpointhealthsystem.com.
Hi, I'm Kristen Abraham from Abraham Art Gallery in downtown Winchester. Whether you're here for the season or here to stay, your lake home deserves art that inspires. Every month, I curate a fresh collection of artwork ready to bring home. From paintings and pottery to woodworking and journals, there's something for everyone in every style. Come browse, sip a coffee, and take something beautiful home with you. Find us on the square at 106 North High Street on Instagram, Facebook, and make sure to visit abrahamgallery.com for upcoming events.
If you're competing with 3 other businesses in the same category, you're not advertising, you're fighting for attention. At ESPN Radio Winchester, our top partners don't outshout their competitors, they eliminate them through partnerships that offer category protection and exclusivity. Fewer competitors, stronger recall, better results. That's how local advertising is supposed to work. Learn how smart advertising creates a competitive advantage with ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
This is Unleashed with Chewy, powered by Burrell's Termite and Pest Control on ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
Welcome back to Unleashed, presented by our friends over there at Burrell's Termite and Pest Control. Joe Abraham saying, do you like your mom? LOL. Quickly becoming a therapy Thursday. Yeah, don't get too early. We still got a couple days between then and there. All right. I wanted to talk about something that happened to me over the weekend. I blacked out and it happened, okay? So we were talking about this craft show, even talking about Mother's Day and all this stuff, but something else did happen to me this weekend. I went back to Cracker Barrel. I've been going to Cracker Barrel a lot. It's not something I'm necessarily proud of, but I have been doing it. I've been going to Cracker Barrel more than is probably what's recommended by the FDA and other health specialists. But I can't help myself. All right, I've got a problem, and Cracker Barrel's there to fix it, and I'm all about it. So over the weekend, we went to Cracker Barrel, me and Tori did, and we actually brought along Mom and Dad, so we had the whole crew there. So I had an audience for when I did this, and we rolled on to the Cracker Barrel, sort of like mid-afternoon. Wasn't too packed, it was on a Saturday, so there wasn't like a big church crowd or anything like that either. We got there, and when the waiter came up to the table, I don't know why, but a spirit grabbed me. And it told me to order a dozen biscuits. And brother, I did it. And I gotta tell you what, that was the only thing I ordered. I went to Cracker Barrel. I went up there and I ordered a dozen biscuits. And the guy looked at me, he's like, so you just want like 12 biscuits? I was like, yeah, sure. And he goes, is that it? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, all right. So that's what he did. And then he brought me the entire freaking basket of biscuits, and can I tell you what, folks, it was really good. I kind of blacked out, I blacked out, and then I woke up just covered in biscuit dust, whatever that means. Andrew jumped in this afternoon. Good afternoon, Andrew. I hope you're having a wonderful day. But yeah, I blacked out, woke up covered in biscuit, no more left for the entire table. All the, he brought me like a whole bowl of like those little jelly packets, sugar-free jelly. He brought me a bunch of butter. Didn't use it. This was purely all just for the biscuit mayhem, and I did it, and I downed all those biscuits in like an hour, like less than an hour, dude. Like, I did it. I ate before everyone else was done, and we were there for a little bit, dog, and I did that. But anyway, I was curious about this because, Cracker Barrel is sort of like, it's a trap, right? They give you this basket that's like oversized basket, and you see these biscuits, and they're like the size of like the palm of your hand, and you're like, oh, these little biscuits, they couldn't be too bad. Joe Abraham says he's jealous. Joe, we never did this, but we talked about it one time going there and just like seeing if we could a la carte unstoppable biscuits and just see how long we could go. And I think I could probably go until my heart stops working. I'm that level of addicted. Where, I literally am the biscuit fairy, where I feel like if the biscuit fairy brought us biscuits continuously, I would go until I bet you money, I bet you dollars, I could eat myself into congenital heart failure. I guarantee you. But here's the thing. Does anybody else have this? And no, I'm not asking, are you going into an establishment and eating that much, that many carbohydrates in one go? No, I'm not asking if you also have a problem like I have. What I'm actually asking you is, what are some of these other secret breads that these restaurants have that a bunch of people really like? Because for me, Cracker Barrel is number one. I have never had a free bread or chip or whatever they bring you to your table that even comes remotely close to the biscuits at Cracker Barrel. Now, I also know that they also do like the cornbread thing. I don't love the cornbread out at Cracker Barrel, if I'm being honest. Maybe that is sacrilege, but I wanted to know because, listen, there's a couple like super badass versions of these free breads that people come with, starting with Texas Roadhouse rolls with their cinnamon honey butter thing that they got, okay? Now, I don't know if you ever had one of these rolls, but they are coated with some kind of mind-altering substance that makes them one of the best concoctions ever made. And it's literally just like flour, and then I don't know, I didn't even know what they make them out of. I don't know if they're yeast rolls or if they're regular rolls or whatever, but you go in there crunching on all the peanuts, and then you sit down and you have these things. These are some of the best things I've ever had. And now, is Texas Roadhouse one of these places where I would go and I would say, hey, give me 12 rolls? Don't tempt me. No, I would not. I would not eat 12 Texas Roadhouse rolls because I think that actually would kill me. Where like I feel like I can get away with the Cracker Barrel thing, but if I pull that with some of those Texas Roadhouse rolls, I think that actually would kill me because of the amount of butter that's on them. But like, what's another one? Olive Garden breadsticks. Okay, drop it over here in the Hall Furniture Facebook stream if you guys have a favorite bread like this, because I know some of you perverts will tear up some Olive Garden breadsticks. Now, Olive Garden, we've talked about my opinions on Olive Garden. I think that's a pretty decent restaurant. Never been a fan of their breadsticks. I don't like the garlicky bull crap they'd ever say. Joe Abraham said you'd eat 14. Man, we need to do this. We need to go out there and see how many biscuits I can house, because it's embarrassing, dude. It's like we could sponsor that and people would watch it like a National Geographic thing where they get on there. The most amazing animal, in his natural habitat. My natural habitat is like the corner section, like the former smoking section in a Cracker Barrel. And it's just like, and listen, I mess up a root beer too. Like, I like those root beers because they give you the bottle out of the glass. They used to have frosted mugs. They don't do that anymore. Can you believe that? Frosted mugs were like the best thing. But I used to do that. My natural, like, if you ever wondered what my natural habitat is as an animal, it is definitely Cracker Barrel. Just being around there, being on the rocking chair, smoking you in some checkers, the oversized checkers. That little, like, triangle thing? I'm pretty good at that. I don't know about you guys, but here's another one. Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits. That's the other biscuit that people bring up to me whenever I talk about how much I enjoy these Cracker Barrel biscuits. I gotta say, folks, overrated. 100%. overrated. Red Lobster's Cheddar Bay biscuits are overrated in every sense of the form. Can I tell you who is actually my close second behind some of that is actually Mexican restaurants with the chips and salsa. Okay? You guys nail it. And listen, if you go on like Cinco de Mayo or maybe like a Mexican Independence Day in some places, they'll actually give you like the red and like green corn chips along with the regular white ones to like do the flag. Highly recommend heading on out there if you ever haven't done that for that. But listen, Cracker Barrel biscuits, Mexican restaurant chips are right underneath it, and I don't want to hear about it, okay? Now, I've been to a few steakhouses where they like bring you like the half roll of like the sourdough thing, and it's like fresh and hot and it's like steamy. That I like. That's my third. But my fourth is the Texas Roadhouse rolls. But I just straight up don't even like the Olive Garden breadsticks or the Cheddar Bay biscuits. And that weird wheat oat bread that they have at like the Cheesecake Factory. It's not good. Cheesecake has like, they have two breads that they bring you. They bring you that one brown bread that's like covered in like the oats and stuff like that. The stuff's not very good. But they also do bring like a little sourdough thing, and those are really good. Tori's been getting into making sourdoughs here lately, and I'm all about it. And but yeah, is the free bread technically a meal? Like that's the main thing I wanted to question you with during this segment was like, does that count? I think that counts. I mean, does it not? Can like a la carte? Like if you went out to eat with somebody and they a la carted like, hey, this free bread, I just want a lot more of that. Like, is that weird? Like, am I the weirdo for doing that? I don't feel like I'm weird for doing that. Like, you asked me what I wanted. I wanted one of the food items that is provided at the restaurant. The food item that you happen to show up with for free also happens to be the food item that I am only here for. And I'll be honest with you, folks, I don't care for anything else in that establishment, bar none. Cracker Barrel, I don't care about the chicken. I don't care about the fries. I don't care about the beans. I don't care about the hash roll casserole. I don't care about the waffles or the pancakes or anything else. Literally, I go in there with one mission in mind, and I go in there to eat biscuits, and that's what I do. I go in there, I consume the biscuits, and then I leave. I'm a cheap date, okay? I'm a cheap date anywhere I go, but especially when I go to Cracker Barrel, I'm a very, very cheap date. My most expensive thing are my fancy root beers, okay? Because I don't think that there's anything inherently wrong with asking for the bread as a meal. Because, like, and listen, I'm not the only one. Olive Garden, there are people who go to Olive Garden and they do that, like, super salad thing, which apparently I learned the hard way is not super salad. It's soup or salad. I thought it was a super salad, and that's why it was like endless, and you could just go in there and eat that. And there's people who do that where they'll, like, try to like dine and dash Olive Garden by only ordering the breadsticks and the salad and then leaving, which is a smart move. Like if you're trying to save money, I guess, but you should be ordering that because it's what you like, not necessarily because it's like the best one. So what is your food that turns you into somebody that you don't respect anymore? Because mine's definitely biscuits. It used to be like donuts and stuff like that, but I've realized like, you know, as you've gotten older, like I can finish like half of one donut and I'm already ready for a nap, dude. Like, I used to be able to house donuts. I just can't do it anymore. There's way too much sugar in them. Way too much. It's, like, way too much going on. And I just pass out, dude. Like, I'm waiting for my toes to start going numb the next time I try a freaking donut, dog. But as far as that goes, you know, chips and salsa, free bread, popcorn at the movies, Girl Scout cookies, gas station snacks on a road trip, leftover pizza that's been cold and in the sink. I'm curious, what are some of the things that, you know, like, what are the food opinions that raise an eyebrow that you get from other people? Because, and also let me know if I'm wrong in the Hall Furniture Facebook stream, which I don't think I am. I don't think I'm wrong for doing that. I enjoyed the bread from this place, so that's what I'm gonna eat. I don't think it's a weird thing. You know, like if you were ordering, you know, Cracker Barrel to go, wouldn't you order like half a dozen biscuits in a box to come with everything with you? Which aren't super good. They sweat really bad, so don't get them to go. If you do, like, eat them quick if you can. But let us know, because for me, I don't know. They're my favorite. I have an issue with them. Let me know in the Hall Furniture Facebook stream if you guys got issues with anything else. We're going to take a break here and then be back with more Unleashed, presented by our friends over there at Burl's Termite and Pest Control. We'll be back after these messages. Stay tuned.
When it comes to beef, The smartest way to buy is straight from the source. At Max Meat Processing, you can stock your freezer with whole, half, or quarter beef, saving money while getting premium, locally raised meat you can trust. No additives, no preservatives, just real beef. And if bulk isn't an option, no problem. Max Meat Market has you covered by the pound. Max Meat Processing, your hometown source for quality beef.
From the team at Franklin County Financial Services, congratulations to the class of 2026 at Franklin County and Huntland High Schools. Now is a time to celebrate your accomplishments and the journey that brought you here. As you step into your next chapter, stay motivated and continue building towards your goals. Your hard work is beginning to pay off, and your future is full of potential. Congratulations, seniors, from Franklin County Financial Services. This spring, take pride in your yard with Flagship Lawn Services. From mowing and trimming to mulch and full cleanups, they deliver professional results at a fair, honest price. And with their Flagship Finish Guarantee, every job is done right, or they'll make it right. No shortcuts, no hassle. Just a yard that looks the way it should. Call or text Flagship Lawn Services today at 239-849-4033 and see the difference for yourself.
It's time for a local news break from the 931 Go News Center.
Franklin County football gave fans their first real look at the Chuck Reed era during the Rebels' spring game against Tullahoma. And while the scoreboard favored the Wildcats, the bigger takeaway told a different story. While Tullahoma may have celebrated like it had done something major, the Rebels won the night in a different way. They looked like a program with direction. Reed has only had a few weeks of spring practice, and Franklin County was not at full strength. Several key athletes were unavailable due to baseball regionals and state track preparations, but the players who were on the field made a statement. The biggest storyline was rising junior quarterback Baylor Hayes. From the opening drive, Hayes looked calm, confident, and in command. He connected with JT Baxter on a deep seam route to set up an early touchdown, showcasing timing and poise well beyond typical spring game expectations. Receivers Logan Polkinghorn, Mason Wiggs, and Kyron Peace all made impacts, while Jonah Holt ran hard behind a retooled offensive line that flashed physicality. Defensively, the Rebels' new 3-4 scheme forced an early turnover and brought more organized presence to the field. Though depth and a few breakdowns proved costly late, many observers left believing the foundation under Coach Reed is real. On the baseball diamond, the Rebels' postseason run came to an end with a 4-3 loss to Battle Creek in the 3A Region 6 second-place game. After falling behind 3-0, Franklin County rallied as Gus Gardner doubled a run and Aiden Hoddesy followed with a 2-run single to tie the game. But Battle Creek regained the lead in the fourth and held on, eliminating the Rebels and ending their season at 19-19. Earlier Saturday, Franklin County defeated Creekwood 8-0 in an elimination game to keep their hopes alive. Taylor Austin and Gavin McBee drove in early runs, and the Rebels steadily pulled away for their second shutout of the year. It was a season defined by resilience and fight. For more local sports updates, visit 931go.com. Stay informed and stay connected to your community with ESPN Radio Winchester.
This is ESPN Radio Winchester, where Franklin County comes to life. From local news and athletics to everything in between, we're proud to bring you the stories that matter right here at home. And it's all made possible by local businesses connecting with real people in our community every single day. When you support them, you support our local coverage. Over 75 years of Franklin County heritage. Want your business to be a part of it? Contact WCDT today. ESPN Radio Winchester. Franklin County plays here.
This is Unleashed with Chewy, powered by Burrell's Termite and Pest Control on ESPN Radio 1340 1069 WCDT Winchester.
Welcome back, ESPN Radio Winchester, 1340 1069. We got a few more minutes here, and I wanted to talk about the state of batteries of vehicles at this moment. Because, listen, so this weekend I had to change my battery out. my battery on my Suburban crapped out, and had to replace it over the weekend. Number one, thankfully the battery prices have not skyrocketed like everything else, or at least the ones that I went and got did not have that issue. But I went out there, and like, you ever have like one of those, like, these frustrations where you forget how in-depth something is sometimes, you know, but at the same time, there was also a bit of a reality check I got this weekend with the ease of access of my own battery. And I've got a car that I'm in since it was a 2001 or 2002, one or the other, and I don't remember. But we, replaced the battery. It was a little bit of a hassle because it's like one of those ones where it's like the side-mounted battery kind of thing, and, you know, you're thinking, this shouldn't be too hard, but you got to have, like, you got to have the right thing, and then it's bolted down. It's not screwed down. You got to have the right kind of screw, and you got to make sure you got all the right heads, and you have to have all the right tools, and you got to get into this, and then you got to undo, like, the roll bar, and then, make sure you don't drop any of the screws and everything, and it's an in-depth thing, okay? It's annoying. It's not impossible. It's just tedious, right? And, we're out there for like 30 minutes, take the battery out, finally get to Walmart, carry that thing through Walmart in a buggy, because I'm not carrying all that thing all the way back to the back because it didn't have a freaking handle. It just had, it was just like just the side. So we get back there, exchange the battery, we get all of this stuff, finally get it back there. And I was sitting there like lamenting about it a little bit. My dad was talking about it. He's like, oh yeah, it's not too bad. And I was like, oh yeah. And then he was telling me about, like, on a modern car, how difficult it is to actually put in batteries now. And I was thinking about this, where even apparently it started in the late 90s, how, like, a lot of these car manufacturers are designing vehicles to basically say, like, any problem you have to go through, like, a mechanic or a dealership or something like this. And then they're adding all these computers and stuff on top of it. And I was like, it struck me like it's one of those things that I know everyone else knows, but I was just blind to, like, the difficulties of, like, man, just fixing your own car being such, not just a hassle, but like a time vacuum. But, like, why, if you're making a car, I guess I understand the why, but I'm saying, like, it's just like, if you're an engineer, you should know better. Malicious engineering is what I call it. It's this kind of engineering where they put obstacles in your way intentionally, so you have to go out of your way to get things serviced. But here's my question, okay? For the people who are doing this, does that not inadvertently have long-term effects on the economy as a whole, and then therefore reduce your profit margin because of it? Where, like, when you do this means that this person can't go to work, you can't go to their job, they've got to use money some other way to find travel, and then they send it back to you. Okay, the monetary gains that you will get from fixing the car at the dealership or at a mechanic or something, like halting these people from being able to fix their own car and continue doing what they're doing, like, isn't there going to be a net negative on the number of, like, on the money as a whole, because you're performing this kind of behavior where you sanction it, and it's like, for a little while we don't notice it, but it's like less people have access to a fixed car, so therefore less people will be able to participate in the economy more appropriately, and then less people will want to buy that car because more people tell them about how awful it is to work on it. And it's just like, it feels like in the short run, on paper, it makes sense, but, like, in the long run, the economy literally slows down because people can't get to their vehicles as efficiently as they used to. And it doesn't make any sense to me from a manufacturer standpoint. Number one, if you're trying to make your car difficult to work on, why? Because that'll work one time, and then the resale value on that car will be so low that nobody will want it back. Like, there's no vehicle right now I'm going to buy, even though it's difficult to work on. Like, that's part of the requirement of being a vehicle, is being able to be worked on. I feel like that I'm not crazy in, like, having that opinion, but if you have a vehicle, it should be at least moderately able to work on it with a simple set of tools. At the very least, explain to me, though, maybe this is a question for Steve. We'll jump into it with a call with Steve at the beginning of hour number 2 at 3 o'clock, and we'll be asking about this because, man, it frustrated me hearing, just like, I was already kind of frustrated with, like, how difficult it was. It wasn't that it was difficult. It's just, again, it's not that it's difficult. It's just that it was tedious. But I looked in, so just out of curiosity, I looked in my dad's, he's got a newer model of a Tahoe, and I looked in there and I was like, how do you even get access to half of this stuff because there's like these big protective sheaths, and if you take certain sheaths or certain screws out, like you lose warranty opportunities and all this other stuff. Just absolutely bananas behavior from somebody who's, especially if you're designing a vehicle. It's like the long-term effects of this seem to be like you're going to give your competitors the perfect reverse benchmark to outdo you. I mean, if you sell a car right now that's just like bare bones, it's got nothing in it, no computers, none of this other bull crap that anybody else wants, and it's easy to work on, you've won. You win the market. You know what I mean? And now I've heard, selling a car in the United States is like borderline impossible. You have to have all these standards, be a part of all these deals and everything. And they know, my guess is that they probably know that a bare bones car would kill the rest of the car market, but maybe it should. If it's that easy to kill it, then maybe it needs to die. Because I don't think there's we as consumers are not benefiting whatsoever from this sort of behavior at all. I just do not understand it. I think it's more difficult, and they're like, oh, well, it helps mechanics. And I'm like, does it? Or does it just make their job more annoying? Because now you've got not just like all the regular things that can go wrong with a car, you've got to account for all this extra crap that people, have to take advantage of because, you have to reset this computer to make sure it's got this, and there's a software update. Then we have to make sure that we get it from the right company. You go and calibrate it, and you get all this. It's a headache for everybody. Somebody explain to me the monetary reason outside of pure profit that we should continue this cycle of behavior, because I feel like it's absolutely insane. It's literally it's unsustainable. Joe Abraham says, I feel like everything is like that these days, which is why I have like 13 individuals who have like 99% of the money. I mean, yeah, that's where we're at, where we're like, you design for obsolescence instead of longevity, and the economy will collapse. I mean, that's just how I feel about it. Where if you're designing everything to be just temporary and replaced, then when everything needs to be replaced, what then? Anyway, that's just some of the frustrations I had over the weekend. We'll be tuning in back second hour. Giving a call over there to Heath Automotive. We'll talk to Steve for a little bit if he picks up, and then after that we'll talk some Cinna Monday stuff. I watched the majority of the Darth Maul show over there on Disney Plus, and I wanted to give some of my thoughts on it because I've seen a few of the episodes a few times now, and we'll be talking about that. So Cinna Monday coming up in the second hour, along with Steve from Heath Automotive and Tire. So stay tuned for those. Hey, stay tuned after this break as well. More Unleashed, presented by our friends over there at Burroughs Termite and Pest Control, coming at you right here on ESPN Radio Winchester, 1340, 1069.
It's Larry Shelby, previously on the Paul Feinbaum Show.
You know what, Chris? Let me tell you something. Why don't you go catch your breath before commenting on somebody else's? And hacksaw Tuscaloosa Jim Duggan. Just shut up, because I could strike you out blindfolded, pitching underhand with both arms tied behind my back.
Okay, why don't we take a break? I'm pretty exhausted.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, weekdays at 3 Eastern on the ESPN app and on the SEC Network.
With the latest from around FCHS and Rebel Nation.
The Rebel Report, every weekday, presented by Oaklawn Baptist Church, right here on ESPN Radio Winchester.
Welcome back, Franklin County. I'm Lucas Stevens.
And I'm Laura Medina. Welcome back to the Rebel Report, your source for everything happening in Franklin County athletics and activities.
We begin with a look back at an incredible postseason run by the Franklin County Rebel baseball team.
The Rebels battled their way through the region tournament this past week and showed a ton of fight all the way to the very end. Unfortunately, their season came to a close Saturday after a heartbreaking 5-4 loss against Battle Creek.
Even though the season ended just one run short of advancing to the state sectionals, this team gave Rebel fans plenty to celebrate.
It has been quite some time since Franklin County baseball has made a postseason run quite like this one, and this group proved they can compete with anyone in the state.
Throughout the tournament, the Rebels showed resilience, toughness, and determination every single game. From big defensive plays to clutch hitting and strong pitching performances, Franklin County represented the community with pride.
One of the most exciting things about this season is that many key players are expected to return next year.
This postseason experience could become the foundation for an even bigger run next season. The Rebels now know what it takes to compete deep into the playoffs.
Now let's head over to track.
Our Franklin County track and field athletes who qualified qualified for the state tournament are entering their final preparations before competing next week on May 21st.
These athletes will have the opportunity to compete at the University of Tennessee Track Complex in Knoxville against some of the best athletes in the state.
That's an incredible accomplishment and something our entire school can be proud of. We want to wish all of our athletes the best of luck as they closed out their seasons and compete for a chance to land on the podium at this next state meet.
And while some seasons are ending, preparations for next year are already beginning.
Tryouts for several Franklin County athletic teams will take place next Thursday, which also happens to be the final day of school.
Different sports will hold tryouts throughout the day, so students interested in participating should be sure to check out with coaches and school announcements for the exact times and locations.
Summer workouts, camps, and off-season practices are just around the corner, and excitement is already building for another great year of Franklin County athletics.
We are looking forward to summer and a whole new season for everyone next year.
That's all for today's Rebel Report.
I'm Laura Medina.
And I'm Lucas Stevens. And as always, go Rebels.
Located at 108 Memorial Drive in Winchester, Oaklawn Baptist Church is a place where families grow, faith is strengthened, and students are encouraged to live with purpose, which is why we're proud to sponsor the Rebel Report. Our mission is simple: introduce people to Jesus and build strong families through God's Word. Join us this weekend for Sunday School at 10 and worship to follow at 11. Learn more online at oaklawnbaptistchurch.org.
You are now experiencing Unleashed with Chewy on ESPN Radio Winchester, presented by Burl's Termite and Pest Control. Please stand by for your regularly scheduled broadcast and enjoy the show.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Unleashed, presented by our friends over there at Burl's Termite and Pest Control. We're going to be jumping into a call with Steve from Heath Automotive this afternoon. Maybe investigate some of these issues, who knows, or maybe just talk about some of the